Mr. Ex-President Pervez Musharraf, it's very nice to speak to you once again.
It's a pleasure speaking to you. Thank you.
General, a lot is going on in the world, including the fact that the United States, President Trump, has withdrawn the United States from the Iran nuclear deal. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I believe in non-proliferation. So, previously when President Obama reached a deal with Iran, there was a lot of instability in the region, especially in the Gulf and Saudi Arabia. On the side US is taking, I think they feel much more comfortable now. So we have to balance out our relations. US has to balance out relations between the Gulf and Iran, because there are a lot of sectarian issues involved here.
Is it a good idea, though, for Pakistan? Is it a benefit to Pakistan to have the United States pull out, or does it create all sorts of problems because Pakistan has business deals with Iran, and now the sanctions may somewhat affect those business deals?
Yeah, Pakistan and Iran. Well, Iran is a neighbor of Pakistan, and at the same time we have very special relations all along. We've been having with Saudi Arabia and UAE and the Gulf. So therefore, it's a tightrope walking that Pakistan has to do, and all leaders of Pakistan have to do in balancing relations between Iran and the Gulf. So within this, whatever United States does, we have to watch it carefully and react to it very, very carefully.
Well, recently Pakistan has put a limitation on the movement of US diplomats in Pakistan. That was in response to the United States doing the same to Pakistani diplomats here in the United States. Has the relationship between the United States and Pakistan, is it deteriorating?
Yes, indeed. I mean, it saddens me especially that the relations between Pakistan and United States are maybe at their lowest ebb. I think there is an absolute requirement of sitting together and resolving whatever cribs each other has against each other, and that relates really to Afghanistan and what is happening in Afghanistan. Now, there is a lot of accusations against Pakistan of double dealing, which one has to understand that is not the case. Pakistan has certain grievances, and so does the United States have grievances against Pakistan. If we settle down, sit and try to resolve them, that much our relationship will improve, and that is the requirement of the day.
Why do you think it deteriorated, the US and Pakistan relationship? What was the beginning of it?
Why? United States, the main criterion, I think it's what is happening in Afghanistan. And as far as Pakistan is concerned, the US complete and total tilt towards India and favoring India, which was in the Cold War period against the West and it was a part of the East. Now the US has taken a stance with India against Pakistan. We need to see why it affects directly. Pakistan is affected directly, and whatever India's role in Afghanistan, we would like the United States to examine that, whether it is impinging on Pakistan's interest, and therefore one-sided approach towards India always is taken negatively in Pakistan.
Meanwhile, the China-Pakistan Economic Corridor, the CPEC agreement, it seems like that China is gaining much more influence in Pakistan. Is that true?
Absolutely. When Pakistan has always been a part of some camp. We were in the Western camp during the Cold War period. We were throughout the most loyal allies of the United States. Now, when United States ditches us, may I use that word, and favors India, which is our enemy and which is trying to undo Pakistan, we have to look at friends. We have to look towards new friends. However, may I say, that should not be at the bilateral relationship and cooperation between Pakistan and United States. That is what I believe. But we do have to look at new friends, and China happens to be a friend of Pakistan.
The United States, over a long period of time, has given money, aid, to the military in Pakistan, as well as there's been humanitarian aid to Pakistan. And I'm curious how the United States is viewed by the citizens of Pakistan.
Yes, indeed. This is a great anomaly here. If you look back to history, while we were in the US camp, while we were the members of SEATO and CENTO, these were defense pacts with United States. After the 1965 war with India, we were put under sanctions because we were not supposed to use the weapons given by United States against India. However, then these sanctions were carried on till 79, when we started the Mujahideen, or we started the war against Soviet Union assisting Afghanistan. Till 1990 we were again very good friends. Everything was happening from Pakistan, and people of Pakistan accepted whatever was happening through Pakistan. But then in 1990, once Soviets were defeated, again the Pressler Amendment was put in. And do you know that 40 F-16s of Pakistan, for which we had paid to United States, they were not released to us. In fact, we were being asked to give parking money for those aircraft. And then we lost again, our relationship went down again. Then after 9/11, it went up again. So it has been a roller coaster drive between US and Pakistan. We don't understand why United States ditches us and then comes back to us. We want to be friends after whenever they need us. The people of Pakistan think that way, that whenever United States needs us, we become friends, and when they don't need us, we are ditched. That should not be. It should not be such an acute drop or rise in relationships.
Well, one of the huge controversies in the United States looks at Pakistan, is the fact that A.Q. Khan, who is considered the sort of the father of the nuclear weapon in Pakistan, was trading technology to other nations. It's believed that he traded some nuclear technology to North Korea. That was, one of the reasons why I think the United States had a falling out with Pakistan. Am I wrong?
No, you are not wrong. There has been proliferation from Pakistan, which is most unfortunate. Should not have been done, but unfortunately it did happen. But now the situation after I came in 1999, let me tell you, the first thing I did was to bring custodial controls over our nuclear armament. We created a strategic planning division, a secretariat which controlled all the finances, which controlled all the security of all our science organizations. This was not there before, therefore a bad individual could proliferate. And then we started we raised an Army Strategic Force Command, which is equivalent to a corps of military. And now these assets of ours are under their very good command. This all was created later, and I don't think there is any chance of proliferation now at all.
The reports are that Pakistan is the third largest stockpile of nuclear weapons in the world, behind the United States and Russia. Do you believe that to be true?
Now, I don't know what you asked really accurately, but I would also like to say that why is there a very biased opinion between India and Pakistan? India is also nuclear. Nobody asked them. And the United States must know, why did Pakistan go nuclear? It was because India exploded its first bomb in 1974, and they challenged Pakistan. We had an existential threat from our east, and that is what forced us to go nuclear. So nobody in the United States asked India to have stopped that. It is only Pakistan. So I think this is a one-sided approach, in spite of the fact that Pakistan has been a most closest ally of United States, always in difficult times.
Do you see any sort of reconciliation between Pakistan and India? I know there's the fight's been going on for decades over Kashmir. I know that the two countries have been basically arguing back and forth across the border for decades. But do you see any sort of cooling off of the relationship between India and Pakistan, especially in light of the fact that both have nuclear weapons?
Yes, it depends. You don't, they say in Pakistan, you don't clap with one hand. Both sides, leadership on both sides have to reconcile and accept that there is a requirement of peace between the two countries. Now, in my time, I was dealing with Prime Minister Vajpayee and also with Prime Minister Manmohan Singh. One was from BJP, their hardline party, and the other from Congress. And we were moving forward on resolution of the disputes, the three disputes, Sir Creek, Siachen and Kashmir. Sir Creek and Siachen was almost done. We could, even now we can sign it yesterday, and Kashmir was being done. We were working on a strategy which I propounded, this 4-point formula that I gave, and we were moving forward because both the sides wanted to have peace. Now, at this moment, that is not the case. One side, that is India, is constantly and continuously threatening Pakistan to undo Pakistan. Their minister sitting on the television has said that we broke away half of Pakistan, now we are going to divide Pakistan into 4 parts. Now, if we hear this, a military man like me hearing this, I mean, I would take the entire guard up and we better fight them. We will fight them to the hilt. They cannot be allowed to do this. So, that is where the problem arises. They have no intention of going for peace. The Prime Minister of India has no intention of going for peace. In fact, he is trying to enforce Hindu supremacy in India, and that also creates a lot of waves in Pakistan.
What is your opinion about President Trump meeting with North Korea's Kim Jong-un? What do you think about that?
I think it's a very good move. It's an excellent move, and may I add, we should give some credit to the President of North Korea, who initiated it. He is the one who said that I am going to go for no more nuclear tests, no more missile tests. So, I think it was an excellent move which should have been, which should be reciprocated. We should accept, but obviously there is a lot of slip between the cup and the lip. It's not that easy. One understands the road to peace on this, but one has to tread carefully. It's a very good beginning. It's an excellent beginning.
Did North Korea get its nuclear technology from A.Q. Khan?
Well, there is not enough proof of it, let me say. Whatever transactions went on, it is not that North Korea was totally 100% dependent on Pakistan.
Do you know if North Korea got technology from any other nation for their nuclear weapons system?
Well, we did proliferate with Iran, that is known, but no other. I don't think A.Q. Khan managed to ingress into any other country or had relationship. He may have tried, but he didn't succeed.
Is Iran keeping its side of the nuclear deal?
Yeah. Now, frankly, I wouldn't be able to answer that question. Probably they may be. I mean, if the United States and the West has all the technology of watching things from the air, the technological capabilities to see them, they ought to be knowing whether they are keeping their part of the deal. And of course, if they are not, then I think President Donald Trump has done the right thing.
Dr. Afridi is a Pakistani who helped the CIA locate Osama bin Laden in Pakistan. He is currently in prison. Do you think Dr. Afridi should be released from prison?
Yes, this is a case which I know. I do understand, which is an irritant to United States. But purely on merit of the case, let me say that how can a person, would you allow a person of United States, a US citizen, dealing with ISI on a very, very sensitive issue of national importance to United States, and they are not, the man is not dealing with US CIA, but with ISI of Pakistan. I mean, that is his guilt, that is his guilt, and therefore the man has been punished. But one That is one of the irritants. As I said, the US and Pakistan should sit together and see whether we can resolve this irritant and exchange a more accommodating stance from United States towards Pakistan and Afghanistan, because we have a terrorist sitting there, who Fazlullah, and we know that the Afghan intelligence and RAW of India, they know it, and I suppose United States also knows that he is there. We also know that India is totally intruding into Balochistan of Pakistan through Afghanistan, and United States is turning a blind eye to that. That is the grievance of Pakistan against United States. And I know that other than Afridi, it's a Haqqani group which irritates the United States. We need to sit down and resolve these issues.
But just so I'm clear, if you were current president of Pakistan right now, would you release Dr. Afridi?
Well, with a deal, yes, with a deal. Everything has every nation has its own national interest, and it makes policies in accordance with their national interest. Now, one can't violate national interest with a policy that is unpopular in Pakistan. But however, if there is a deal, if it's a give and take, yes, indeed, it can be resolved. I don't think it is such a serious thing it cannot be resolved.
Would you like to go back to Pakistan?
I would like to go back at the right time, yes.
How do you define the right time?
$1,000,000 question. One was, there were two issues which bothered me. One was that the judiciary itself was victimizing me. All the cases, so many of them, which were opened about 2 to 3 years after I left Pakistan, and I was staying in Pakistan when I had resigned for 1 year. So, all these are politicized cases initiated by the ex-Prime Minister who has been disqualified now. That was what was irritating me, and that was what was preventing me from going back, because the judiciary was totally partisan. The other is the government machinery, which this the ex-Prime Minister Nawaz Sharif, who was disqualified, he ran, and all his government machinery, whether it is police or commissioners, deputy commissioners, and all the government machinery was put against me to victimize me. That was another. So, one, the judiciary is definitely better now, one can expect justice from them, and secondly, since he is out of office, one expects that once the cases against him are also decided and he is totally removed, then one can see that the government is also balanced now, the government machinery is balanced. That is the right time, and it is happening.
From a Pakistan point of view, who do you think out of these three presidents was the best president for Pakistan? President Bush 43, President Obama, or President Trump?
Well, from my point of view, certainly President Bush. I mean, he was a very good friend, and I found him to be an extremely sincere, extremely well-meaning, and extremely straight-talking man, and a man who was popular with his own people. One could see that in the eyes whenever I came to the United States. Everyone loved him somehow. President Obama, I have never met. I wouldn't like to comment. He was, India leaning. President Trump now, yes, he starts with a new slate. That is my thinking. He's, if I may be allowed to say, he's quite uninitiated in world affairs and regional affairs and India, Pakistan and Afghanistan and Kashmir and all that. So, therefore, he is starting with a clean slate. This gives Pakistan an opportunity to go and convince him about our points of views on various regional and international issues, which ought to be done, which we are not doing, which we are failing to do. Therefore, here is an opportunity with President Trump to improve relations between us and Pakistan. That is how I think.
What's your opinion of Kim Jong-un?
Well, I don't know him frankly, but he is quite an enigma. There is no doubt. He is an enigma, and he has been all along. But such people who have total control over their countries, can take big decisions also. So one can expect good and big decisions from them because they are strong enough and they have the following of the nation. So I would say he is the right person to deal with. Here is an opening now. We should make the best use of it.
Would you trust Kim Jong-un if you were negotiating with him?
We have to trust. I mean, if we start with lack of trust, mistrust, when we start negotiations, I mean, that will be a pity. No, so we should not do that. We trust, and then if he proves unworthy of trust, then we stop trusting. But if he is saying something, let's take it on face value and trust him.
What is your opinion of President Xi of China and his relationship to North Korea?
I think certainly they have a good relationship with each other, and North Korea and China have all along been connected to each other, especially when South Korea and Japan and Taiwan, etc., in the US camp, North Korea doesn't have anybody else to look at other than China. So I am sure they have good relations.
I guess that so your mistrust is directed, correct me if I'm wrong, at India and the United States for helping India and not taking more of the Pakistani side of the dispute.
Well, Pakistan's mistrust is towards India because they are posing an existential threat, as I said. They have all along since 1947 been wanting to undo us and balkanize us. This theory of Greater Baluchistan and Pashtunistan are stunts initiated by India and Soviet Union and Khada of Afghanistan. That has always been happening since our existence. We have fought wars, we have fought many actions in Kashmir. So our mistrust obviously goes towards India. Otherwise, with Iran, there is no mistrust. So I think it's India, of course. And with the United States, the relationship is quite, frankly, quite unequal. I mean, we do understand the United States is a superpower, and every leadership in Pakistan should understand that and deal with the United States accordingly. And especially now in a unipolar world, we have to understand that the United States has certain authority in the world. And unless this world, which is changing now into multipolarity, which US should understand also, that there is a shift in the world today. There is a paradigm shift in the world. So these things must be taken into account by United States also. But as far as Pakistan and US relations, yes, this up and down of relationship must stop, and we should develop the same trust that one had. I had good trust between US and Pakistan when I was the president for 8 years. And although now people keep talking that I was double crossing, which is absolutely a misunderstanding. I never double cross. I am a soldier. I am a straight talker, and I spoke to President Bush very straight. The problem was, if you allow half a minute more, the problem was in dealing with terrorism and extremism. We were there on the at the strategic level. I had made it clear Pakistan is with you all along to fight terrorism and defeat terrorism. But if you start micromanaging for us within Pakistan how to deal with it, tactical issues, that is where the difference arose. Sometimes we had difference of opinion on the tactical issues, how to deal with this. So that should not be taken as double speaking. No, sir, it is not. It has never been there in my time. At least President Bush never said that.
Is Iran the sponsor of terrorism in the Middle East?
Well, Middle East is a powder keg at the moment, and the most dangerous element of Middle East is the emerging or the signs of sectarian conflict emerging there within the Muslims. That would be most sad, and it is that is what seems to be happening.
But who do you hold accountable for that? You've got the Shiites in Iran, and at least the reports are is that they are funding Hezbollah, and they're funding people fighting in Yemen, it does seem that they are spreading their wings out and causing more disruption in the Middle East than there already was.
Yes, I can say that how people here in the Gulf are seeing events, they feel that they are being encircled by Iran in the north, Syria, Iraq and Lebanon, all leaning towards Iran, and Iran extending its control completely there. In the east, they themselves, the whole country is there, and in the south now coming from Yemen, and then intruding into the interior of these various sheikdoms. Now that they see as a big danger, and that is what I said when I said that there is a lot of, I must say, sectarian conflict brewing in this region, which the Muslims should try to resolve themselves.
Would you, if you were president of Pakistan now, what would you be advising in terms of how to address the fact that there's so much sectarian violence in the region?
Yes, I think unfortunately in the entire Muslim world, our only organization, there are two ways of addressing this. If Pakistan was strong enough internally, I think we are the strongest Muslim country, and we could have played a role in mediation between Shias and Sunnis, this sectarian conflict, because we have Shias and Sunnis internally. We understand what the nuances are. We could mediate and bring peace, but if we are strong enough and if we are influential enough, but that is not the case, so let's leave that aside. The other is our only representative, Muslim representative, is the OIC. Now OIC is frankly quite an important organization. They should be the representatives of Muslim in the world, and they should have a voice, they should have a power to influence Muslims, which they are not. If they had, they could play the role of bringing mediation between various sectarian groups in the Muslim world. So in the absence of both of these, I think the Muslim boat is rocking in very, very rough waters.
Mr. Ex-President General Musharraf, nice to talk to you, sir.
Very nice talking to you. Thank you very much indeed.